Can't get enough of your favorite Lemonada Media podcasts? By subscribing to Lemonada Premium today, you'll gain access to fun and inspiring bonus content from all of our podcasts across the Lemonada Media network. As a subscriber, you can listen to never-before-heard interview excerpts between Julia Louis-Dreyfus and her A-plus guests on Wiser Than Me, laugh along with Elyse Myers as she and her guests play a rapid-fire questions game on Funny 'Cause It's True, and continue to uncover new ways to make life suck less through our exclusive subscriber audio. Check out a free trial of Lemonada Premium today in the Apple Podcast app by clicking on our podcast logo and then the subscribe button.
Hey boo hey, it's me, X Mayo. I'm a comedian, writer, producer, and taco expert. Also, when it comes to confidently managing my finances, your girl is a beginner, for sure. So I want you to join me on The Dough, Lemonada Media's new 10-episode podcast series, as I dive into better understanding the financial trapdoors that any of us could fall into. And I've fallen, I keep on falling like Alicia Keys, okay? But if you've ever stayed in a bad relationship to avoid moving out costs or just found yourself swimming in debt, you are not alone. Each week, I'll be exploring all types of financial flops and money myths that stand in the way of our financial freedom. On this show, Cash is queen. We hardly know her, but baby, we are determined to be her best friend. The Dough is out now, wherever you get your podcasts.
Lemonada.
Okay, actually, can you just pretend that you're listening to a fully complete theme song here? I got really in my head, and I tried to make it perfect, and I couldn't. So this is going to be the theme song right here. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Funny 'Cause It's True. I'm Elyse Myers. Today, I'm talking to actor and digital creator Chris Olsen. Chris and I compared notes from the time that we filmed a music video with Meghan Trainor, and it was so fun to recap that day with him. Chris also shares how his content has changed from its start with his partner in COVID to now. He is an absolute delight. So 2 things that are funny because they're true. Number 1, Chris is very good at asking questions to the point where I just start this conversational long campaign to get him to start his own podcast. And number 2, People Magazine just recently rated him the sexiest man of TikTok, which I think is so incredible. Okay, let's get into it. Oh my God. This is like the best day ever. How are you?
So good. I'm good. Thank you for having me on here.
This is like my dream come true. You should already... Do you have a podcast? Because your voice you should have one.
Oh, thank you. I don't, just because it does feel like quite the undertaking. I'm in awe of all people who do have podcasts, because the internal fear is I don't have enough thoughts to share on a podcast. But what do I do all day is just
share your thoughts,
spout my thoughts anyway. I don't know if you've ever had the experience of if someone asks what kind of content you make, or trying to explain your content to someone who does not know the app. I'm horrified by all the content I make.
More than that, I get embarrassed when people ask me what I do for my job, because I'll meet a lot of people that don't know who I am, or at the doctor's office or whatever. And they'll be like, what do you do for work? And without fail, it's like my brain reboots and I have no idea what to say. And for a while, I wouldn't even acknowledge what I did, because I was I am so embarrassed to say that I make content online that I would default to being a web developer like a few months after I'd made the full transition.
Sure.
Do you have an answer? Do you have a succinct, what do you say?
I don't know. It's also very tough for me, and I've never really considered that when I'm vague about it, people are then just filling in their own blanks.
100%. Did you ever tell you the story about the landlord I had when I rented oh my God. I had a townhome that I rented as my office for a while, and my landlord was super nice, super cool, but he would, for the first few months, there was things he had to come over and fix. And I had a ring light and a camera pointed towards this like day bed that I was filming on for a day in the life. And he, at this point, I told him I was a web developer.
Sure.
So then he comes in and he had to fix something. He goes, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm working." And the lights are hot. I'm like clearly filming, pointing towards this like bed couch thing. And he goes, "Okay." And I was like, no, it's for the internet. And then he was like, "Okay." And I had just opened up this promotional box from a wedding company, from Bachelor Nation. So the contents of this box were so intimate but so separate to what I was filming. I just had opened my PR and it was on the floor next to it.
Oh,
and when I tell you this man was convinced I was making, sexually explicit content for the internet.
Absolutely.
That was like, I could never change his mind.
There are way too many signs.
It is my nightmare, Chris. Okay, so if you can picture it, on the ground in the living room was a pink satin pillowcase embroidered with Elyse's fantasy suite on the front of it, and then a stick of meltable chocolate and caramel written "for two" on the box, and fake rose petals just kind of barely open because I wanted to see what it was.
And also the amount of chances for him to walk in right when that specific PR package had been opened.
And I didn't think about it because I'm like, I wouldn't think about it. And that's what's so funny about so much of what we do is like without any context, someone watching you make something like delivering a cup of coffee to a stranger on a red carpet or something like is so random. But if you understand the context of your content, it makes all the sense in the world.
Yes.
That brings it up. I wanted to ask you, you do a lot of like red carpety interviews and stuff like that. Do you enjoy that? Is that something you're wanting to kind of get into?
For the most part, like I 100% enjoy it, but we are regular people. When I'm someone who doesn't go to red carpet events, I assume that these red carpet events are just so perfectly executed. Everyone there is having an absolutely perfect time and like it's stress-free. And so it has been a bit of a learning curve to realize, like, especially when you are working on the carpet, it is clunky. You have to be on your toes. Like you have to be ready to talk to one of the stars of the movie for 5 seconds and then you have no one for a while. Or if you're talking to someone, be ready for the next person, and stuff like that. So I feel like I've gotten more confidence in it over the past few months. But I really do enjoy doing that. I feel like a dream that I have like down the line is doing like some sort of late night segment or late night show where I can like talk to people like that, because I feel like I've created so much of my content around like just showing the human side of a lot of people, or just trying to like be these people's friends and show the world how everyone is just a regular person at the end of the day.
Yeah. Has like what you've decided to capture and share with the world changed? Because how did you start on TikTok? Because you have like a musical theater background.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you wanted to start with, or?
Oh yeah. I was getting a BFA in musical theater and then the pandemic hit, spring break of junior year.
Okay.
So I was like, let me download TikTok and just see what's happening on here because I'm bored. It wasn't like, all right, pivot, let's now get a career, because like, you download the app. For the most part, all of the people I know who are creators on the app, it is like happy accidents for all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so many of us work really hard and we care so much about how our content looks. But it's like, even though I did that at the start, I didn't know if anyone was going to want to watch or partake in any of the things that I was doing. So I downloaded the app and I was in a relationship at the time. So naturally, my content around that time was like relationship content. It was like pandemic. Here's some couple content. We got nothing else to do. We continued creating content for a while, but as, having grace with myself, as relationships that start when you're 21 can sometimes do, the relationship ran its course. And then I was like, okay, now I'm here in LA with this platform. What do I do with this? And I just kind of I just pivoted and tried to find new ways to create on the app and, go from there. And that's around the time that I met Megan too. So that's kind of how I feel like all the accidental part of it happened. But I was I was in school for musical theater. I ended up finishing, like, my last senior year was on Zoom.
Oh my gosh.
And
congratulations for finishing, because I would not have had the stamina. I'd be like, it's over. It's done.
No, it was, even my dad was like, you can drop out. Like,
Graduation
like,
is a state of mind, okay?
Right. And because also I'm getting like, and listen, stay in school, kids, but I was getting a BFA in musical theater as well. Like,
Sure.
I wasn't going to slap that resume down on like a desk and be like, and now you're going to hire me, right?
Totally.
Like,
Totally.
no one, it's a very specific kind of degree. I do hope to use that training at some point in my life as well, because that's the little Chris dream. I think he just really wanted to be seen and heard.
Oh,
I feel like that's kind of how it did come to be in a way. I mean, was yours also in a way sort of like this accidental thing?
it was like I had no desire to be seen or heard in any way. It was like, please
Sure.
actually
Right.
stop. So literally stop looking. But it just, I found so much value in the community that I was kind of building, that I felt like it would be a disservice to myself and the people that saw themselves in me to not do it. And so it just was like, what do do I want to be comfortable, or do I feel like this is such a position of like purpose that I just feel like I'm responsible to it, and that was kind of what I did.
Yeah.
And it's kind of not stopped since. It's kind of been a snowball, an accident.
Yeah.
But I have always done the same-ish thing. I've evolved a little bit, but my track has kind of been the same since I got started storytelling. So it's really interesting to hear that, like, when you started making content centered around this relationship, that's where I found you.
Right, right.
And I really was curious what was happening in your mind as, the breakup happened, but then you're pivoting to make solo Chris, and you always made like solo Chris content, but like really this is you now, only you.
Yeah.
It sounds really depressing. You're alone, Chris. Elyse, just let it go. He knows he's single. Stop. Sorry.
And now you're alone in your room.
The way I am like pounding that message in. Sorry.
No, but it's true.
Yeah, like what was that like?
There was a lot of fear there, because I think like at the end of the relationship, I was like, this thing isn't working between us. Unfortunately, we also somehow kind of made it our jobs at the time.
Yeah.
But like, I think it had been decided that just like our happiness was worth more than kind of like pushing through. We broke up and I was like, well, I guess this is over for me.
Really?
Like, I'm sick as well. And so after I posted the breakup video, I watched throughout the day my followers just go down. I was like, and now I'm going to watch people leave me, because like, why somehow masochistically I'm like, I am going to watch my fear be confirmed and just watch it go down. Then around that time, just kind of like, I guess kismet of it all was like, then Megan reached out and was just like, come on my podcast and like, let's hang out. And it truly was supposed to be that, just like a one day do the pod, and that's about it.
And that was you meeting her, right? For the first time.
That was me meeting her. And it's so funny because I pull up to her house and her entire family is waiting on the front step, like smiling, ready to like receive me. And I was like, oh, like, what the weird thing is, I should have been more nervous, but I was like, oh my God, it felt like I was like, I'm home.
Yeah.
That then also had its natural progression change of like, now I'm making bestie content with Megan Trainor, which is just
so
like, was
crazy.
also so crazy to me.
So actually, Chris and Megan posted this video a while back where they said that they had known each other since childhood, and they created this like fake photoshopped picture of them at a pool together as a joke. And they didn't mean for people to take it seriously, but I didn't know it was a joke. So this entire time, I genuinely thought that they have known each other since childhood. So I'm just now learning that that's not true. You're managing her social media, right?
It's so unofficial, like we make the jokes that I'm like under this contract and like this is our friendship contract, but like most of what I was doing was just like coming over and we were creating TikToks, and then when her album was out, it was like, let's create some TikToks with the music. And it just like, it flowed in the exact way that I think the universe meant for it to flow.
Yeah.
But I really have gone through so many phases of this is the kind of content I'm making, and now that's kind of ended. So what am I shifting to? And I've tried to create constants throughout, like the coffee deliveries or those therapy videos that I do. But I think so much of my fun on TikTok is finding the new thing that I'm like, oh, I enjoy doing that,
Yeah.
which I feel like evolution is something that happens with so many content creators because it is short form as well. You know, like we have to evolve in a way. Because do you feel like your content, even though it's stayed with story times, but if you were to watch one of your videos like from the start, are you ever like, oh, what is this video? Even if it went viral, you're like, oh, this is what I would do differently. What's your thoughts on it?
It's so funny. I was just talking to Jonas about this yesterday. I watch my videos back sometimes, and I felt so uncomfortable being myself. Like, I was authentically myself.
Sure.
But my style and my delivery is so serious because I am a very high anxiety person. And when I'm comfortable with you,
Sure.
that high anxiety manifests very loudly.
Sure.
Like, I am verbalizing every thought, and I'm sweating, and like I'm changing my shirt, and I'm telling you that I'm changing my shirt because I just pitted through my shirt. Like, that is that is me in real life. But online, I was really stripped back, and I was anxious in a very quiet, serious, like stoic way, to the point where I was like
Interesting.
robotic
Yeah.
almost. So I watched myself back, and also I was filming at like 4 a.m, and I had like a 4-month-old. So, life was so different, but I couldn't be loud.
different.
But I just watched this person that did not think anybody was going to be watching her content.
Right.
And then people did, and I got so afraid that I was going to be too much because I was too much for so many people in my life that I was like, I will make the most stripped back version of myself.
Right.
But then express myself through these like emojis. So it's like I could be that, but like through the visuals of my story.
Yeah.
And that's just created this whole style of storytelling that I did not know
Yes.
the internet needed and wanted until I started doing it.
100%.
Okay, time for a break. When we come back, Chris and I talk about balancing our online audience with our very real, in real life social anxiety. Okay, so this is an ad, but it's really more of a PSA. Dreamland Baby weighted swaddles are a lifesaver for so many parents, or really anyone who knows a new parent and you just want to help them out tremendously. So the founder, Tara, was once where you are right now, trying just about everything to get her baby to sleep. But Tara went a little above and beyond, and she actually designed a product of her own. She'd go on to be featured in Forbes for it and even make a deal on Shark Tank. Here's how it works. The sleep sack evenly distributes weight from your baby's top to bottom. Kind of like how weighted blankets help adults sleep, the sleep sack's Cover Calm technology helps babies unlock deeper sleep too. It's won awards, it's doctor approved, and helped over 500,000 parents sleep better themselves. The sleep sack can be worn 3 ways, both arms in, one arm out, or both arms out. And it's made of 100% soft and natural cotton. Tara really thought of everything. Go to dreamlandbabyco.com and enter my code Elyse at checkout to receive 20% off site-wide and free shipping. This offer is for new and existing customers. That's dreamlandbabyco.com and code ELYSE at checkout for 20% off. You want to know what's music to my ears? Bread bowls. And that brings me to our beloved sponsor, Panera. Whenever I'm not sure what I'm going to do for dinner, but I know I want something nourishing that I'll really enjoy, I pick up Panera on the way home. Plus, with Panera's new Crunch Time feature, Panera will send you a reminder at whatever time you want to order your favorite preset dinner with one easy swipe. It's been an absolute game changer to make sure dinner is taken care of while I'm out running around. I'm going to start with my favorite, their mac and cheese, featuring a creamy, rich blend of cheeses. But I also like to mix it up too, and Panera makes it easy. Sometimes I'll go with their Fuji apple salad with chicken. Or I'll try one of their unbeatably delicious and hearty soups like their creamy tomato soup. It's a classic, and I have found no soup that pairs better with their warm, fresh bread bowl. And I have done plenty of research, trust me. So order Panera tonight to get a delicious dinner in one easy swipe. Available only in iOS mobile devices. Other restrictions apply.
And for more information on clean, visit panerabread.com/clean.
Did you do VidCon or something like that? you've had moments where you're in front of a lot of people, because I think what was coming up in my head too during that is like it can be a little easier communicating through this, because it's like at the end of the day you are just looking at yourself. Yes, it's going out to a lot of other people, but it feels in a way like, okay, we have this boundary up so I can be comfortable to create this. But now that the world has opened up again, and we have events like VidCon or so many of these other things, was that a big shift for you when you started like going in public as now Elyse with the platform?
Yeah. And also, you need a podcast, just first of all, because you're the best interviewer. I've never had a guest be like, I'm going to interview you now.
I'm so sorry. I'm just so curious because like you throw it at me and I'm like, well, what about you? Like let's talk about this.
I love it so much. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to start a campaign for you to make your own podcast.
Okay.
But my gosh, the question. Oh yeah. World opening up. Definitely. The number one question I get from people is, if you are so socially anxious, like how on earth do you make content for millions of people? And the thing that most people don't understand when they are not on the content creation side of it is that I literally am creating my everything in a vacuum by myself with a phone at my house, and I do not have to see anybody's faces. So like, it is very easy for me to find this like weird cheat code of being able to be this like entertainer without having to have any stage fright. And then what's really interesting is then you do get invited to these things where people assume that will translate, and it doesn't. Right. Like at all.
Sure.
And people like think I'm like this doing this like gimmick or this shtick when I meet them in person, and I am like uncomfortable. Like
a little terrified.
If you looked at stills from the beginning of our shoot together that day.
Yes.
For those that don't know, we did Made You Look a cappella with Meghan Trainor. It was the first time I met you in person. Sure, the first like 20 minutes, I have photos of me. I look like I'm about to shit my pants with a Christmas like jacket on, like on my head
with those outfits that we were wearing.
And I'm looking at Jonas, and Jonas is like, "You've got this." And I'm in a room full of 4 people, like with cameras, behind obviously the scene. So it's just it's just so funny that it does not translate, and it's a totally different skill that I'm learning now. And I'm so honestly, that is the thing I'm most proud of with myself in this job is. Yes, I'm proud of the content I make, but I'm really proud that I have been able to step out of this like fear, because all of this happened to me without, a plan. Like it happened, by a happy like accident. So I just feel like I'm a liar. So when I show up to these things, I'm like, they're going to find out I am a liar. That doesn't happen because you are meant to do this job and you figure it out. And, so... And it's so interesting when you talk about wanting to do Broadway, because you're like, I'm socially anxious. I'm like nervous. Like, are you seeing yourself like being on a stage and not being nervous, like singing to hundreds, thousands of people?
For the first time since school, I performed with my friend Tyler. He did like a solo show at a theater in New York. And so that was my first time literally like live singing, performing in front of people since like the pandemic started, because the last time I was doing it was at school. And so I was really nervous, but it's still, thankfully, I discovered that it still does happen to me that when I step out, like it's almost like your brain short circuits because there's too much going on to continue thinking about your anxiety, and like it's like adrenaline kicks in and you're like, I'm okay, here we go. Oddly enough though, the times I get the most nervous are when I'm getting on stage and doing a Q&A or something like that, because then I'm like, okay, so now we're just talking about me.
I would have never guessed this because we were on a Q&A panel at VidCon together, and he was filming a TikTok as we walked out on stage together. Like, we were already running a little bit behind, and he walked out on stage wearing high heel Crocs, and he was filming himself going onto the stage. So this is news to me.
If I'm going on stage and like doing a role or performing a song, it's like I'm almost departing from myself a little bit. But for Q&A, it's like, oh no, we are talking about me here. I still can't really make a video like the kind of videos I make at home, like those filter videos or anything like that. no one better be around me. No one can be home.
I will kick my family. I will kick Jonas out of if Jonas walks up to me making a video.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, right.
I will throw my phone across the room and break it before I let my husband see me make a piece of content.
Right.
I will be recording on my Instagram stories, and Jonas will walk in, and I will put it down as if I am like in trouble.
Look.
I feel no shame with just posting it and then sitting right beside him while he watches it, because I'm like, watch it. It's really funny. You should watch it.
Yeah.
But for some reason, like him watching me do it is like, no. Why do you think that is?
I think it's maybe because it's such a vulnerable spot, and before it's made, there may be mistakes.
Yeah.
We may say the wrong thing. We know how awkward it feels making them because because of the cuts and everything.
Yeah.
And it's you do the thing and you're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm like, it's like it's so clunky making a video. So I think that might be part of it, because then when it's finished, as you say, it's like, and now I want to show absolutely everyone,
Totally.
look at how good this finished, edited, perfected product is. And like, I was on vacation with my family,
Oh my God.
entire cousins, aunts, uncles, and I would go into a car in the garage to film the videos. And if I even heard someone getting close to the car, I was like,
It is so embarrassing.
it is so fascinating because our families, they know what we do.
This is like the number one reason why I cannot get an editor. So actually what's really funny is even
Sure.
with this podcast, if you've listened to it, you know that like I do little VOs like over my episodes. The editing process of like giving my stream of consciousness, I had to have full control to where my team had to be like, you have to stop editing the material you're sending us. Like, you're not basically giving us enough. Like, we need to be able to put it in and stuff. And I'm like, in what world do you think I'm just going to press record and like all of my mistakes, like let you hear all of them and then pick the best one? Like, it made no sense to my brain that I could allow someone to control that aspect of it. And now with the experience, it's like, you know, I press record and I send it, and I don't even have the time or emotional capacity to like care. They have to like pick that for me. My producer literally just messaged me and said, "We wore you down."
Yeah, right.
Yes. Oh my God. They won.
Yeah.
But with YouTube, like, there's no world in which I could show, oh my God, like, it makes me want to barf. Like, setting my camera up and, like, checking my hair.
Doing the thing and just like all of the or possibly telling a joke that didn't land.
So you have to
and being like,
retell
Don't
it?
put that one in. yeah. Like, oh, tripping up over the words. And then, because we say them again, and if I'm editing it myself, I'm just like, what is up, you guys?
Yeah.
Like, I'll just re-say it a whole bunch of times, but thinking of someone else watching that go down, oh, it's tough.
It's actually shameful. Okay, time for another break. When we come back, Chris and I talk about the time that we made a music video with Meghan Trainor. I do a lot of writing for this show, and I always try to be really careful about my spelling, my grammar, and just the overall quality of my writing, but it's hard when I'm moving so quickly to check everything. That's why every single day I'm super thankful for Grammarly. They've helped me come off so much more confident in my writing, and also I just feel more confident sending emails, like all of the emails. Grammarly does more than just fix grammar and typos. With Grammarly Premium, it takes your writing to the next level. To me, Grammarly is like having my own personal writing consultant right there with me, letting me know when I'm maybe being a little indirect or less concise than I could be. It's those little checks with their software that make all the difference for me, helping me strike the perfect tone and actually getting things done. The free version of Grammarly offers instant proofreading with comprehensive spelling, grammar, and punctuation suggestions. They also offer a tone detector, but I recommend the premium version, which offers clarity-focused sentence rewrites.
You'll be amazed at what you can do with Grammarly. Go to Grammarly.com/podcast to download for free today. That's GRAMMARLY.com/podcast.
Say goodbye to those old antacid brands and say hello to Wonder Belly Antacid. If you're like me and get heartburn from basically everything, you're going to love Wonder Belly. I know that for me, heartburn and indigestion can really affect how I'm feeling and even impact what I choose to eat, which is a huge bummer. I want hot sauce, you guys. I need hot sauce. Wonder Belly's chewable antacids instantly get rid of heartburn, acid indigestion, and a sour belly using the same active ingredients as many of the leading brands. Only Wonder Belly doesn't have talc, artificial dyes, artificial sweeteners, titanium dioxide, or GMOs. And they come in these super cute and colorful aluminum bottles. Wonder Belly antacids come in 4 delicious flavors: strawberry milkshake, lemon sorbet, watermelon mint, and fruity cereal. The strawberry milkshake one is my personal favorite. It's an antacid tablet that actually tastes like strawberries blended into vanilla ice cream topped with whipped cream. And it's dairy-free. And as if the flavors weren't enough, listen to Wonder Belly's tagline for this ad: "Let's kick acid." Obsessed. You can get Wonder Belly Antacid at Target or shop on Amazon with code 20ElyseM to get 20% off. That's 20 ELYSEM, all one word, for 20% off on Amazon. Okay, we have to talk about the Made You Look music video. She went, okay, so the day that we made her Made You Look a cappella video, I had not recorded my parts yet. I did all of my filming my recording with her. I had met her one singular time, and then we texted and stuff, and then I went over to her house, and we're in her studio, and I am confident I can sing, but I am like the kid at the sleepover where I'm like, close your eyes. Close your fucking eyes so I can sing this song. I will not sing if you look at me.
Absolutely. Do not go to the other room and close the door, and I'll sing from there. Like,
so that is me singing, but I can release albums. Like I have no way to explain why it is like that.
Right.
But so we get in, and she shows me the parts she wants me to sing. I don't know what parts. There's nothing picked out. I get there and she's like, sing this. And I'm like, great. And I start singing, and I'm like, this is going to be absolute garbage. And I'm not a singer, and who do I think I am, And she's like pumping me up. And like the whole day she pumped me up as if she was like my mentor mom. Like she's like jumping up and down with the iPad as I'm doing my solo. 'Cause like everybody was really good with their solo, and I'm standing there and I am so embarrassed because we're lip syncing to the video, when we're doing our solo parts. Oh my
gosh. The solo shots. Oh, the solo shots. Those were
I was so embarrassed. Like, Chris.
Listen.
These solo shots were literally the biggest, like the most fear I had ever felt, because it was something I was making up on the spot. You know what I mean? Like you're singing and you're having to make these and you have to do something differently than somebody else did. And then everyone's watching you, and
I don't know how to be a pop star. That's why, like, anytime being on that set, or especially when we were doing it ourselves, I had just even that much more admiration for like what Megan does and what everyone does, because there is just this like effortless way that some people are able to be just a vibe.
Yeah.
She has like these perfect ears to hear absolutely everything that's going on in a song too. And that was another, like, I don't know, wall to kind of crash through, I feel like. But I feel like that's what we have to do in a lot of the stuff that we do, is kind of just have to like just run full speed at the wall. And you're probably going to crash into it. But after a few crashes, it's going to break down.
I didn't realize how nice it would be to talk to somebody that relates so hard to this, because it's not often I talk to people that aren't like professional actors or stage performers. So this is very comforting to me right now. It's going to be fine. We've talked a lot about, though, like when we feel really uncomfortable. Is there anything you do that you're good at? Like, what is a moment where you're like, I was actually meant to do this?
It fluctuates with like content creation, but I feel like for the most part, I have gotten in a pretty comfortable spot with myself when I do create a video. Yes, I don't want anyone around me, but I do feel really good about the finished products. I shamefully and shamelessly will sometimes watch my own videos and be like, that one's good.
I have no shame. I will watch it as if I am not the person that just spent 16 hours making it.
And I'm like, oh, that's funny. Yeah. Like I'm like, what? Like waiting for the punchline, being like, oh, that one was really good. So I definitely feel good about that. Kind of separate from all of like from work wise, when I got sober almost 6 years ago, I got really into fitness. And I have always felt like that is another like safe space for me.
It's really interesting, like my capacity, I feel, and I'm sure you can relate to this too, not like in the like growing a baby way, but like
maybe not.
But like my output, I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself to output the same amount in every season because I did it at one point in my life. And then when you add other things in, like I don't want to let go of what I've done because I'm like, at the end of the day, this is what I really love is like the daily content, right? So then you add a podcast onto it and you're like, okay, well, I still have to make the daily content, but now I have to do the podcast. And then you make a book and you're like, well, I can't let go of the daily content, but now I have to do the podcast, but then I'm writing a book and then you get pregnant and then you do all of them. And then you're like, you constantly feel like I don't want to let anyone down. And
100%.
I'm curious to know how, because you just launched a coffee brand that is like so cool. That's so outside of what you're doing, you know, other than coffee. Like, how are you managing that? And how are you managing your expectations of what you can output and everybody else's expectations of what they should get?
Again, it's always a push and pull. I feel like there are a fair amount of times that I would say for the most part, I do a similar I feel a similar way in putting a lot of pressure on myself, especially when you first start and you first start gaining this, like, you gain this platform and you feel like, okay, now people are relying on me to deliver them everything. And again, it's that thought of like, I don't think people are thinking about it as much as I am. But I am like, I swear to God, if I don't post this video today, something bad is going to happen.
Definitely.
It's all going to be lost. You made a video about this actually a while back of like talking about how the natural progression for content creators is you go through waves.
Yeah.
You have like a strong wave and then you have a slower one, but a strong one's right around the corner. And I feel like after being through enough of that up and down, when I'm in a downswing, I'm just like, that's just what it is. I'm like, all right, like, gonna keep pushing ahead and then let's see what the next thing that people want to watch is. But I feel like I've slowly pulled back over the past like few years of putting so much pressure on myself of what I have to do, to a point of, I remember there was 1 week that I was like, okay, I am not going to post this week and see what happens. And I made it through the week and I was probably like the least stressed that I've ever been.
I know.
And I was just like, what was I putting that pressure on and the first video after that week, like people enjoyed watching it and it was great. And I was just like, my mind just has too much time on its hands to create every bad scenario that ever could have happened or to let my fear manifest itself in so many ways that don't actually come to fruition.
Yeah.
And I've tried to just remind myself that the anxiety that I'm creating is like fake news most of the time.
Yeah.
I saw a video the other day from a creator that was saying like, we make videos to other people, but we're really talking to ourselves. And it's like, I'm trying to make the videos that would help as well.
At this point, I'm like, I have to just speak to myself and hope it resonates with somebody else. Whenever I'm feeling a certain way about something, I feel like if I get online and talk about it, you naturally just find all these people that needed to hear it. And it's so cool because
100%.
It's like, how is it possible that like me and 500,000 other people are feeling like this?
Right.
It's so, and that's the beauty of the internet. There's a lot of negative about it, but the beauty of it is like finding people that are like you, that can connect to you and relate to you. And like, I just think you're doing an incredible job with that and your content. And it's such a pleasure to like watch you from the time I've started following you to now. I have watched you become this like whole other level of yourself. Like you just feel so comfortable with yourself and that makes other people feel safe around you. Like you don't just become friends with these people because you're like tricking them. Like I just want you to know that like you're not tricking anybody. Do you know what I mean? Like you are like an incredible person and they want to be around you because you make them feel safe. Chris, thank you seriously so much. I am so honored to be on the show and this has been amazing.
Thank you. I can echo the exact same things back to you as well.
Thank you so much for listening to my conversation with Chris Olsen. If you don't follow him on TikTok already, you definitely should. He's amazing. And if you like our show, give us a rating and a review. It helps people find us. All right, more next time. Bye. There's more Funny 'Cause It's True with Lemonada Premium. Get access to all of Lemonada's premium content, including My 5 Questions with Chris Olsen, coming out this Friday. Subscribe now in Apple Podcasts. Funny 'Cause It's True is a Lemonada Media and Powder Keg production. The show is produced by Claire Jones and Zoe Dennis. Our senior producer is Jamila Zara-Williams, and our associate producer is Oha Lopez. Rachel Neal is our senior director of new content, and our VP of weekly production is Steve Nelson. Executive producers are Stephanie Whittles-Wax, Jessica Cordova-Kramer, Paul Feig, Laura Fisher, Kesla Childers, and me, Elyse Myers. This show is mixed by Johnny Vince Evans, additional help from Noah Smith and Ivan Krayev. Our theme song music was written by me and scored by Xander Singh. Follow Funny 'Cause It's True wherever you get your podcasts, or listen ad-free on Amazon Music with your Prime membership. Boo-doo-doo-doo-boom-doo.
What's up, everyone? I'm Delaney Fisher, comedian and serial entrepreneur.
And I'm Kelsey Cook, comedian and, I swear this is real, a world champion foosball player.
On our podcast, Self-Helpless, we dig into everything from heartbreak to career burnout to the wild stories from our 20s and the many anxieties we've experienced along the way.
We're often joined by guests who range from celebrities to renowned health experts.
And together, we'll unpack big topics like deciding whether or not we want kids, building your dream career, strengthening self-trust, and much, much more.
So join us every Monday for an unfiltered, entertaining, and honest conversation with friends where you don't even have to leave your house. If you're not wearing pants, we will never know.
That's right. So listen to Self-Helpless wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey listeners, I'm here today to tell you about Lemonada Media's newest limited podcast series called Declined. This 10-part series takes you through the journey of two exceptional women from incarceration to freedom, ultimately leading to the creation of the Returning Artists Guild, an organization that uplifts the artwork of currently and formerly incarcerated artists across the country. Call Declined premieres November 27th wherever you get your podcasts. Casts.